Believe it or not, that is not a toy hauler. At least not a toy hauler in the traditional sense. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV at my Coldwater, Michigan hometown store today, although we do have these available at multiple locations. This is a Wolfpack 27Pack10, and I actually, personally, I consider this a bunkhouse first that just happens to have a rear patio and a really awesome, flexible, go-away bunk cargo storage system. Now the cool thing is, you could use this as not a bunkhouse. You could use this as just a couples model. Maybe you've got like a motorcycle or a golf cart or some kayaks or e-bikes or just bicycles or big dog crates. Or maybe you just want an RV that has that cool rear patio and you don't want a toy hauler. This is one RV that can do all of those things. But Wolfpack, is a toy hauler brand, and as a result, you're kind of getting some cool benefits here that a traditional floor plan doesn't offer, like a maximum width 102-inch wide body RV with extra tall ceilings, which means taller slide outs. If you want lots of headroom in the shower, you want to be able to stand up in the slide and not bump your head, this is an RV that can actually do all of that for you. Now, it's got some really cool features like that. It's got a couple downsides too, like because of its extra size and stature, I don't really consider this one half-ton towable. This is not what I would ever personally recommend pairing up with a half-ton. If you choose to do otherwise, good on you, great American. Live your freedom, live that life full send, brother, but that's not my way about things. Goodyear tires now, enhanced expanded solar package versus what we saw last year. And as you saw that beautiful touched up interior decor, it's just a little richer, a little warmer. I'm really glad to see that. You've also got things like we're on a Platinum Edition today, which is the upgraded package where we're getting that awesome looking fiberglass skin with just a little tinge of gray, a little more white than gray now. Bunch of other good stuff to it. Let me know what you think about this one, and let me know what you think about the idea, should there be more rear patio RVs other than like just toy haulers, kind of like this one? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, so just to give you some perspective here, like if you wake up in the morning and the clock gives out a warning and you don't think you're gonna make it on time, you might be dreaming that you're in an episode of Saved by the Bell. But if you wake up from your RV's king bedroom and walk out here, this is what you might look at. And this is kind of why, this is a traditional bunkhouse floor plan. But the thing is, with that power Happy Jack bed lift system, it does not have to be that. Because you can use this a number of different ways. Like, I could almost see myself using it like this because I've got one kid. We're a one and done household. I could basically leave a bed set up for her, but we could just duck under that thing and be able to pass through to the back. In the meantime, we'd have room down here. We could load up our bikes. Somebody could load kayaks. Like, you don't have to go full, stone cold crazy like Queen with this thing. But should you so choose, you can get those things totally out of the way. They still use the same full 1 dozen. Like, this is overkill on the tie downs, right? 2,500 pound rated cargo area back here in this rear, and it's still dovetailed even. All those Wolfpacky things that you're used to are here, but now, suddenly, you can just straight walk right out from under this thing. And to give you an idea, yeah, I even at 6 foot plus, I can walk right out of here. Now, there is a little roll down 3-season, I don't know if I call it 3-season, but anyway, roll down tent screen wall. There's some optional steps you can put off the back of this thing. You see that little gate section right there. But this is cool. Like, how many people would love the ability to be able to tow an RV of this length, but yet like gain 6 or 8 feet of extra space when you get there? Obviously, you got to make sure you don't back too far into a campsite. And if you're parking in the middle of nowhere, well, none of that exactly matters. Now up top here, we got that handy flood loading light. You see that we're backup camera ready. And just to give you kind of another perspective of that loading space over here. Now, over to our left, there's just a little, I'm going to call it like drink station. I'm not going to call it like a full camp kitchen. Ironically, what you don't have over here is a fridge and a cooker. And what the camp kitchen in this RV lacks is an actual sink. So you put the two together, you got a full camp kitchen. They just got it spread out. You do have a spot out here for a little game day bucket go boom outdoor entertainment area. And this is all metal. This is all galvanized rolled steel so that you don't have to worry about, a little rain or humidity or something getting on that and causing that wood to swell. Obviously, you still have a lot of wood wall paneling. If it's going to rain, you need to close it up. That's just, there's no other way about that. You may have noticed the snap-on blackout window shades over there. In toy haulers, those are very popular so that your handlebars don't rip off window treatments. But remember, I call this a bunkhouse first. if there's kids in those bunks thrashing around, there's not a whole lot for them to like get snagged on and ripped off the walls. I like those little blackout shades. Freedom Express, which is a more traditional couples and bunkhouse builder, they actually do something very similar in their bunks. I think it's brilliant, personally. I'd love to hear what you think about this new kind of richer, warmer wood tone and decor in here. This is one of the things I've always enjoyed about Wolfpack RVs. They don't scream, you know, toy hauler, not traditional toy hauler. Now, toy haulers have certainly, in some aspects of the market, gotten far more swanky. That really kind of began like with the Cyclone series. They were one of the first ones to say, what if we took a luxury fifth wheel and we turned it into something like with a Three Seasons garage? What would you say to that? So, there's more than one way to skin a cat, obviously here. Now, we're going to get all the storage open in just a second. First, though, I want to just kind of, like, we're sitting at the optional theater seat on this one. Normally, right here, there'd be a jackknife sofa. This doesn't come with a TV. It's dealer's choice. They let you put whatever screen you feel like in it. And to kind of reiterate something I said earlier, with this being a true toy hauler, a taller ceiling, a wider body, they have the room to do things like have a taller slide out in this because the roof is already super duper tall. Like this is, I think this roof, if I can fingertip it, it's about 7.5 to close to 8 foot tall, something like that. Like it is just gigantic and spacious in here, and they maximize the windows through the slide. They gave you the biggest windows they possibly could. Although, I do try to be fair, and if you like this kind of fair information, if you're new with us, hit that subscribe button. If you've returned, hit the like button, just to kind of way saying, hey, thanks, nerd, or type out thanks, nerd. Anyway, not every window opens for airflow. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer. But the fact is, your big panoramic windows open for airflow. Your slide side ones do not, however. I'll tell you the good with the bad to the best of my ability. So look at all the storage here to help you get your bearings, actually starting back from the cargo patio, whatever you want to call it, space. This is a legit walk-in pantry-tainment system. Now, the thing is with this having an extra tall ceiling, there's almost a dead chunk of space up there, but maybe some helmets or something would go good up there. Now, while we're looking at this, you see that camera mount right there. If you want to put a... apparently I didn't get that closed. If you want to put a backup camera in your garage space, like if you go over a big bump, you can, from your vehicle, check your load to make sure it's not getting all tossed around. Alternatively, if you are using this as a bunkhouse, that could be away from the privacy of your bedroom, or if you put the kids down, you could almost use it like a little nanny monitor where you could, peek in on the kids if you hear a funny sound, if you want to make sure that your oldest son hasn't snuck out to meet that girl over at the swing set. I'm not saying my parents had to worry, but my brother apparently was a bit of a looker as a kid. The kitchen space over here, one of the cool things that I like about this, like it's a little odd those drawers are down so low, but it's that way because of where the kitchen sink plumbing is. And you're like, why is there that, blank dead panel right there? That is there because there's an outside camp kitchen underneath of it. See that beautiful skirted black stainless sink, or skirtus, as I've been inclined to call them recently here. But look at the power outlets down low by the countertop space. That's something that I really, really like. No. No. Oh my God. A side splash. They're actually doing a side splash. Like, why is this such earth-shattering news? The Wolfpack engineers actually understand that bacon grease can fly sideways? This is revelations, guys. That is awesome. Why? Why is that such earth-shatteringly uncommon forward thinking in the conventional camping world? Anyway, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to complain that it's finally here. I'm just glad that it's finally here. That is a gift horse that I am not going to look in the mouth right there. Now, kind of circling back to something that I mentioned earlier, if you're up here in your private king bedroom, you can use, if you add a backup camera, you can use that to check on the kids. Because that's the thing. You've got a full-on privacy wall up here. Everybody has their own space. Now, I've used the word king a couple times. And again, I try to be very fair, very candid, very open. It's a weird camp short king but there's room for a longer 80-inch bed in there. And if you wanted to convert this to just a queen for more walk-around space, you could very easily do that as well. There's absolutely nothing preventing you from, doing a queen swap down. You might need to trim the little flip-up storage under the foot of the bed, but frankly, that's just about it. Now, I do believe we're back to where we began this video. One of the other things I want to point out, like if you're looking at that entertainment center, it's awesome that it's like, the Maxell cassette straight across from the entertainment center kind of theater seat action going on right here. Notice there's storage in the middle of that theater seat. That is very not cuddle compliant, however. If you are a regular viewer, Mr. Richard Vale, you are about fit to be tied, spitting nails at the fact that that is not cuddle compliant. Some folks do like that separation, though. I like the fact that there's this cool little kind of storage bucket in the middle of it. A lot of people don't realize this. You can actually just line that with saran wrap, and you can use it to store beans. I don't know why you'd do that, but technically that is a thing that you can do. Also, when you do go to the theater seat upgrade, you're getting heat and massage functions. There's also some indirect little accent lights that can kick out from underneath the theater seat action right there, just to kind of help act as like a little bit of a nighttime navigation light. Now, something I didn't mention earlier, they got away from the big air, little air thing. These are all just standard with the 15,000 BTU Coleman Q Series air conditioner now. Once that thing cools down, if you put it on mild mode or whatever you want to call it, it does a fantastic job of keeping the RV cool without being super duper loud. Obviously, hot climates may depend a little bit. And again, with this being a true toy hauler, I gotta ask the question. I like the skylight. Does it need to be there? Do they even need the skylight in this thing with it being so darn tall and with a light directly above it like that? Now, this is interesting. Cherokee does this in some of their models. I call it a shub. It's not a shower. It's not a tub. It's a little in-betweener, And there's some... I tell you, I didn't feel cramped at all in that space there. About the only knock I can give this bathroom is just the fact that the counter space is fairly limited. Beyond that, they have nailed it. And one of the things I think is funny is Wolfpack is a more budget-focused option as compared to a lot of toy haulers. And yet, a lot of those big toy haulers still use the 4-inch fart fan in the bathroom. And yet here, on a more budget-friendly level, they still find a way to include a better vent fan right where you need and want it most. This is like proof positive that everybody could be doing this. Now, once again, back at the cargo space, just to give you a point of reference, obviously now with the slide closed, taking a look at this in road mode, with this is a normal, albeit extra tall, super slide, which means with the wider body, there's more room to be able to walk between the slide and everything else. This is fantastic for travel snack stops. Now, one thing I kind of forgot to mention earlier is above the slide, you've got yourself the full-on Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber Labatt blue light up there. So we can get to the kitchen. We flat lose the bedroom, though. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But speaking of butts, if you're going down the road, you can access the bathroom, and you can do so without needing to hey guys, you got to leave the bathroom door halfway open first or something like that. No, you don't got to do any of that. So notice too where all those D-ring tie downs are located. They're behind the entry door. So generally speaking, if no matter what you have loaded in this, you probably should be able to still get into the kitchen and the bathroom space. It's pretty crafty. So, the million-dollar question with a big guy like this is what's it going to take to tow it? And kind of like I said when we began our adventure here, I'm sure we could sell a bunch of these if I said, oh boy, it's half-ton towable. I don't believe in that. I'm not going to sacrifice your safety for a quick sale, and I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity that way. I do feel this is something best equipped with a 3/4 ton and up. It is tall, it is wide, it is long, especially when you load it up with cargo. It can be heavy. It's got a fairly big stature, kind of like my midsection post-pandemic. You want to be careful with it there. Now up front, of course, we got the power tongue jack, and the battery that we're looking at, that's actually part of the standard, what they call juice pack solar package, which is enhanced a little bit from last year. And actually, while I'm talking about that, take a quick peek at the roof like we did in our little floor plan in a flash. You can see the 1, 2, 3 panel expansion up there, giving you more wattage on this than it had previously. I really like the new platinum graphics on this. It reads as white, but if you look at it really close, it's actually just a slight platinum gray. They still lived up to that platinum name, which I think was actually pretty smart. But overall, nicer, lighter, brighter, feels fresher. Take a look at that marker clearance light on the left, though. Notice something different about that? Compared to last year, they are now not just rear, but also side camera ready on these, which is very cool. And as you can see down in here, we actually do have a full pass-through, which a lot of toy haulers do not have. But then again, this is not really traditional in any sort of way. Now, we saw, some storage on the inside under the bed. You notice how there's that little dog leg left hutch right there. And just, I love the fact that since they come out of a toy hauler plant and they have D-rings available, they said, hey, why not just slap a couple of those in that pass-through compartment, be able to tie some cargo down so people don't have to belly crawl like, army style up in there to get to anything. Just smart little detail, feature, and function going in on these. If I'm gonna knock it on the outside, the patio awning feels a little bit underwhelming, especially against this gigantic sidewall over here. I don't know exactly how the engineering works out, but it does look like there's a little bit of room for something expanded there. And notice the windows. Last year, these weren't really tinted, and now we've got that like mirror reflectivity on them. It can be a little bit tricky to clean, but man, when it is clean and the sunshine in, those look phenomenal. Over here, we've got the mini camp kitchen. Now, this is actually buried under the L shape of the kitchen countertop, that almost like inverted peninsula, if you will. The section that you can't get to, they make useful outside. And one of my favorite parts of that is that ice maker. It does a heck of a job. Now, anytime you see an outside cooker, that does mean that there's a gas grill quick connect, but I realize that not everybody knows little things like that, so I want to make sure I point out the little propane cooker hooker off the side. Under the belly here, you've got yourself, it's all enclosed. These also have tank heaters standard, which is a nice little thing. And here you're looking at the power stabilizer jack feature that can, just make everything a little bit more push button simple. Some people like that, some people don't. Everyone's got it, some people like Blue Bunny ice cream and some people like Breyers, or I don't know. What's your favorite ice cream? I don't even know, I'm asking. Regardless, outside TV hookups, speakers that are at head level, so you're not blowing away the neighbors. And one of the reasons they're able to do that kind of throws people off. You see this beautiful fiberglass. This RV does not have a laminated wall. It has a studded constructed wall, not a laminated wall. So a little more house style, if you will. By the way, this little mini camp kitchenette, there's no traditional sink in it, but you do have the little high pressure cold water sprayer there. Right next to the drunken uncle leash latch that's also useful for keeping the four-legged furry friends under control. And back-to-back hot showers, no longer a problem with that tankless on-demand water heater. Now, the Goodyear Endurance radials are something a couple brands swapped to out of necessity due to some supply challenges last year, and it looks like Wolfpack said, you know what? We don't want that to be a thing of convenience. We want that to be a thing of happenstance, and they've adopted those across the board now. Another little pet leash latch back here. I tell you what those are useful for also. Like if you've got, let's say, bicycles or something that you unload, or just, your own picnic chairs, if you want to make sure they don't go wandering off in the middle of the night the way some things have a way of doing, because some people just, unfortunately, are that way. It's kind of nice to be able to tie that stuff down. Or if it's windy, sometimes it's great to be able to tie things down. Now, the ramp patio package, you notice how I left part of that gate open. There's actually a dedicated swing gate right there because there's an option to add steps off the back of this thing. And that's another little area right there, kind of like that expanded solar. I really want to mention that, the one that we're looking at here today could be different from the one that we might have at one of our locations. Now, I got you a couple looks at that roof because I actually used the ladder on that Cougar over there in the background to climb upstairs and zoom in a little bit to give you a look at that. This RV does not have a side mount ladder as they had about 2 years ago. But if you notice, they last year there was zero factory ability to get up to the roof. You had to get like a very tall separate ladder, which wasn't my favorite. Now, they've got a little, telescopic ladder mount right there, which, keep in mind, not all of those telescopic ladders are created equally. So if you choose to add, to purchase a ladder that's not included with this to be able to get up there, make sure you're getting the longer one, basically, not the 12-footer, because then it's not going to reach, and I don't want you Super Mario jumping and trying to get to the top of this thing. You know, when you do one of these numbers, you're like, let's go! So let me know, kind of, how would you use this? If you were going to get into this, how would you use this one? Primarily as a bunkhouse? Are you going to load, what kind of cargo would you load into it? I'd really like to be able to understand who is interested in a model like this in what I'm going to call like a crossover, almost hybrid concept kind of RV, although hybrid tends to mean something else in the RV industry, but you get what I mean, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. Share your good, bad, ugly, and otherwise, and everything in between. And hey, maybe we can compare some notes. Looks like we've already got our first set of folks taking a look at her. You're on candid camera, folks. Not super candid, though. I'm just candid in different ways. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.